It's the Ross Tucker Football Podcast.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It's actually a Picks Thursday presented by DraftKings, America's #1 rated sportsbook app. And frankly, unlike the last couple weeks where I was traveling back from Maction, which is why it was a Picks Thursday, today actually some technical issues, but that's okay. Things happen. We'll just do Greg Cosell tomorrow on a Friday instead. We've kind of gotten into that routine the last couple weeks. And today it will be all about the current news in the NFL. There's a lot. Wow. As well as picking every single game straight up. Straight up now, tell me, is it going to be you, me forever? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Or am I stuck in a hit and run? Nah, nah, nah. Brian, you know who that is?
Paul Abdul.
Boom. Bri on top of it. Love it. You know what else you're on top of, Bri? You're on top of loving people that spread the word via social media, because we love that. At Ross Tucker NFL, at RossTuckerPod. We will have a winner tomorrow on a Finish Strong Friday, Winners Friday, Greg Cosell Friday. So today would be an excellent day to spread the word via social media, because I still haven't picked the winner for this week yet. At Ross Tucker NFL, at RossTuckerPod. Easiest contest in the Milky Way galaxy that I am aware of. We are the Milky Way galaxy, right?
Yes, we are. Last I checked.
Okay. I don't know what galaxy we are. I really didn't. Sponsor confirmation email winner. We've got so many awesome sponsors. Please hook a brother up and go ahead and take advantage of any of our glorious sponsors over at RossTucker.com. And then once you do send it to me, Ross at RossTucker.com. I am looking for a YouTube subscriber and commenter like you who comments on one of our posts so I can give you a shout out. Love the YouTube shout outs. I got one I need to do this morning, by the way, for Kelly Garrigan, last week's winner. Looking forward to that. Patron of the day, Robert Lloyd Blake. Man, we are up over 100 patrons. I've never seen our private Slack channel hopping like this. I love the new blood. Love learning about new listeners. We're rolling. I mean, between the YouTube subscribers and people commenting and the patrons, we are rolling on some of our ancillary platforms, as they say. Let's roll, Bri.
Tuck's Takes.
All right, a lot to get to this morning. We will start with the NFL announcing that all teams are going to go into the intensive COVID protocols starting on Saturday.
That seems like a good idea, Bri. I primarily follow Pennsylvania, but they've got new restrictions. You know, for a long time, it was like 500 a day, or at least less than 1,000 a day that were testing positive for COVID. Now it's 5,000-6,000 a day, and it's spiking all across the country. So whatever the NFL can do, and we've talked about it with Andrew and others, the NFL is having more COVID positives, players being placed on the COVID-19 list. So they are feeling it as well. So whatever the most intensive protocols are that you can do, the NFL is instituting all of that tomorrow or Saturday, I guess, for all NFL teams. Makes sense. Try to be proactive rather than reactive.
Tuck's Takes.
There's an interesting situation in New York where O-line coach Mark Colombo was fired after a disagreement with head coach Joe Judge regarding adding another coach to the room.
So there's lots of different reports out about what happened here. It feels like, from what I've read and heard, Joe Judge started spending more time with the offensive line because he wasn't happy with their performance. So he was spending more time on it. They obviously are not pleased with what they've gotten from Andrew Thomas, the number 4 overall pick, left tackle. Then Joe Judge hired, they call him Googs, Dave DeGulmio, to come in as an O-line consultant and work along with Mark Colombo. And it sounds like Colombo did not take too kindly to that, did not think that was a good idea, was not happy. And at a minimum, they had a dust up. There was one report out there that it actually was a fist fight. I don't know if that was the case. Oh, there's also a report out that Joe Judge went after, was disparaging a player in a team meeting, and Colombo defended the player. So it seems weird. There's lots of different reports out there. There's a report that there was a fist fight. Many people have denied that report. But then you hear one thing about he was defending a player in a team meeting, another thing about Colombo didn't take kindly to when they said that they was going to have another offensive line coach with him. Whatever it is, Mark Colombo fired after a disagreement with Joe Judge. And that's it. Interesting, because the Giants' offensive line played pretty well the last couple of weeks. They've won a couple games in a row. No shortage of drama, I guess. You don't usually see that with the Giants. That seems more of a Jets move right there.
Tuck's Takes.
Got more COVID list news as well. The Browns put 3 players, including right tackle Jack Conklin, on the list. Well, the Niners put rookie defensive tackle Javon Kinlaw on that list as well.
Right. So it appears as if Conklin is just a close contact for right now. So he still might be able to play in the game for Cleveland on Sunday. I don't know about Kinlaw, but this speaks back to what I was saying earlier, just about the high volume of people in our country and thus NFL players that are being exposed to this virus, which is unbelievably contagious, evidently. So I don't really think this is going to stop, no matter what they have these guys do. I mean, I don't know. It seems like now would be a good time to have a bubble and only have those guys, or have it rent out a hotel just for the team, and the guys are just hotel, facility. I mean, at this point, it's what, 6 weeks left, 7 weeks left. Just power through to make sure the guys can get in all the games, get all their money.
Tuck's Takes.
Other news include Patriots cornerback J.C. Jackson being put on the Pro Bowl ballot after initially being left off. Dolphins giving defensive tackle, is it Zach Sieler or Seiler?
I think it's Seiler, but I'm honestly not 100% sure.
Well, anyway, he's getting a 3-year, $8 million contract extension. So whichever he wants his pronunciation to be, he can have it. And fellow D-tackle Corey Peters, the Cardinals being lost for the season with a torn patella tendon.
So the J.C. Jackson thing is funny because he leads the NFL in interceptions with 6. He's been outstanding this year. And I guess initially an NFL spokesman said that the Patriots left him off the ballot. Now they're saying that was an oversight. I guess it's up to the team to say, here's our starters, and they probably had Stephon Gilmore and Jason McCourty as the starters. And they probably don't want J.C. Jackson, who's about to be a restricted free agent, to be on the Pro Bowl list and get voted to the Pro Bowl. It doesn't exactly help them. But I think when you got a player that's been that significant to the team this year, I think the NFL kind of stepped in and said, no, he's going to be on the list. Zach Seiler, look, this is what you do when you have a young, unheralded guy who's playing well for you. You lock him up before other people identify how well he's playing, and so that you can get him at a relative discount. And for Zach Seiler, he's made peanuts, relatively speaking, NFL-wise, so he's happy to go ahead and get that contract extension.
Want to know which team is going to win every single game on Sunday? Then listen up.
Well, before we get to Sunday, we got a game tonight. Arizona 6-3 at Seattle 6-3.
A couple of things, by the way. First of all, should mention that Corey Peters, you had mentioned him, Bri. He had started most of the games the last 5 years for the Cardinals. They already have Jordan Phillips has been banged up. Chandler Jones out for the year. It's kind of rough for the Cardinals defensive line. That's something to note for this game tonight. This entire segment, by the way, of picking the games is presented by DraftKings, America's #1 rated sportsbook. Just make sure you use the promo code Ross when you sign up over there, and you will. Everything I read, everybody agrees it's the best one out there. DraftKings is the best one of these businesses. So glad we are associated with them. That's for sure. Mentioned this on the Even Money podcast, but the Seahawks are 3-point favorites on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Thankfully, I told you to take Arizona and the points when they were getting 3.5 points. That makes a big difference. But now they're down to 3 because a lot of people have kind of thought what I thought, which is should be an awesome game, should be a high-scoring game. The DraftKings over-under total is 57. That could really go either way. Now, I'm kind of going law of averages here. I think Russell Wilson's going to play better. I don't think he's going to turn the football over like he had been previously. So I think Russell Wilson's going to play better. And I think the Seahawks win the game by a late field goal or less. However, it's a toss-up. It could easily be the Cardinals. In other words, when I say that I think Seahawks are going to win, I do, but that's like, I think there's a 55%, 60% chance that they win. You know what I mean? I think it's a 45% chance that the Cardinals win. I think it's kind of a toss-up. I'll lean a little bit to Seattle. But with the points, especially the 3.5, that's why I liked the Cardinals in this game. But it's not good that they're beat up along the offensive or defensive line. That's not good at all. And Seahawks are getting a little bit healthier. Tyler Lockett will play, which is huge. And I don't think Russell Wilson is going to turn it over. I'm gonna say that Russell Wilson, this is a back and forth game, kind of like what I said about the Cardinals and Bills. Whoever had the ball last, that was exactly right. Whoever had the ball last, Bills first, then Cardinals. Well, whoever has the ball last in this game, I think ends up winning. I think it ends up being the Seahawks. I'll take them in an awesome football game. I'm going big. I'm going 34-31. Seahawks, Russell Wilson, get it done after a disappointing stretch here.
All right, now on to Sunday. Cincinnati at Washington, our first game.
Right, and the DraftKings spread for this one is Washington laying 1.5. Seems about right. I think Alex Smith has played very well the last couple of weeks. There have been some turnovers, but for the most part, I think he's done a nice job. Cincinnati really struggled coming off of a bye. Now, I expect the Bengals to play better than that, and certainly they're playing the football team, the Washington football team. They're not playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, so that will help. This is a close game, but I'm gonna go with the former #1 pick, Alex Smith, to win it out in the end against the current #1 pick, Joe Burrow. Another one that feels like it, and the DraftKings line indicates that it could kind of go either way. But I feel like after the last 2 games, tough, heartbreaking, gut-wrenching losses for the Washington football team, I feel like they're due. I feel like it's their turn to go ahead and get the win. So I'm going to say, how about 26-23 Washington?
The Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints.
Right now on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, the Saints are laying 5 points. I think the Saints win the football game, but I think it's closer than that. And that's why I told you on the Even Money podcast to take the Falcons and the points. We really don't know how Sean Payton will go about using both Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill. I do think it's interesting. By the way, Saints fans are really defensive when you point out that the Saints paid Taysom Hill a lot of money to be essentially a gadget guy. Now, truth be told, I think they gave him that money, A, because they think he's valuable, and B, they wanted to make sure he was under contract for next year. But it's still a little bit interesting. Like, they can't feel that good about him being the heir apparent to Breeze, which I thought, that contract sort of indicated that there's a good chance of that. when you're putting Teddy ahead of them, you're putting Jameis ahead of them, but they don't know that they'll be able to bring Jameis back next year. That's probably the goal, is to have Jameis and Taysom and have those guys compete and pick one. So look, if there's a legitimate chance that Taysom Hill could be the starting quarterback for the Saints, I guess I understand giving him that money now, but I don't know. I'd like to think if you give him that much, you feel good about him being the quarterback if Breeze goes down. Ultimately, very curious, like everybody else, to see how Jameis Winston plays. It could be – I don't think it'll be in the middle. I think he'll either play great or he'll play poorly. And I don't know which one it'll be. I'm going to say he plays well enough for them to win, but the Falcons stay close. So probably a turnover or two from Jameis, who's certainly prone to that. I'll take the Saints to win this one. Entertaining game, 23-20. Saints defense been playing better. Maybe like the last score, 26-23. I'll go with the Saints.
Pittsburgh Steelers and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Steelers looked so good against the Bengals. Now, I know there are people that think that perhaps they could be looking ahead to the Thanksgiving Thursday night game against the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm sure that's true. But I just think that they've had struggles against Jacksonville, and they know it. And Jacksonville's had their number. I think Roethlisberger already said that this week. I think they come out focused. I don't think Jake Luton's played a defense like Pittsburgh. They got guys going for the Defensive Player of the Year award like TJ Watt. I think Pittsburgh comes out, takes care of business, 27-17, the Steelers, and that would be a good one to lock up, Brian.
Your survivor/knockout/whatever you call it, pick of the week.
All right, New England Patriots, Houston Texans.
I should have mentioned, by the way, that the Steelers are favored currently at DraftKings by 10 points, which, again, I got on the Even Money podcast. I told you to take Pittsburgh laying 9.5. I know a lot of you guys that listen don't bet, but maybe you're curious about it. Getting that half point of value is a lot. I mean, that it could be the difference. It helps. It makes you feel better. I mean, if they win by 10, it would be a push. But because I told you to get on the Even Money podcast 2 days ago at 9.5, you win. Big difference. Same with the Arizona game. So you like when the games move in the direction that you thought it should or would, because it makes you feel better about it. As for this game, Patriots favored by 2 on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. And I guess I can just say at DraftKings. I don't need to say the whole deal every time. But I like the Patriots to win the game. I like the Patriots laying the points. That's actually one where I had you laying 2.5. So I did not get the value there. I think they win by a field goal or more. They are going to be able to run the ball down the Texans' throats. They're going to be able to run it all over them. The question is how many points the Texans score. And I just feel like the Patriots secondary and ability to get pressure give them a great chance. I really like the Patriots in this game. I think it ends up 24-17 New England. 24-17. Similar score to their game against Baltimore Sunday night. Patriots take care of business.
Philadelphia Eagles at the Cleveland Browns.
So I'll be all over this game. I'll be doing pregame, of course, for WIP Radio in Philadelphia. I like Cleveland to win the game. I like Cleveland's offensive line. I like the way they're running the football. Now, I will say that this has typically been the spot the last 3 years, and they did it earlier this season as well against the Niners. Just when you think the Eagles are left for dead, just when you think it's time to move on from them and this is a lost season, these are the games that they tend to win. But I can't pick that to happen. You guys know I take these picks seriously for you here. And so with the Browns favored by 3 at DraftKings, I do think the Browns' run game and Myles Garrett are the difference in the game. 24-21 Cleveland.
Next game, it's Detroit, however you want to say it, at Carolina.
Detroit, not Detroit.
Just giving you the option.
You know what? So that was the other option. Detroit. Some
Still
people
the
do say
Lions,
Detroit.
the Lions or the Lions.
Some people do say Detroit. Some people say Detroit, like DE versus DUH. And then got it. I think we've hammered that enough. People are gonna start to tune us out there if we get into that again. So Carolina is actually favored in this one by 1.5 on the DraftKings over at DraftKings. This is interesting because Stafford's status appears to be up in the air. He said earlier in the week he's betting that he plays. I'm betting that he plays as well. So I think he plays. Teddy Bridgewater is a little bit banged up. You know what? I kind of like Detroit in this one. The Carolina Panthers defense has really struggled as of late. This is a very winnable game for the Lions. I don't like the Teddy. I don't feel like he'll be very mobile. I'm going to take Detroit to win on the road, and they are underdogs. I think it's probably pretty high scoring. Both these defenses are pretty garbage. I'm going to go 30-27, the Detroit Lions, and you can let the doggies out.
Ross's Underdog of the Week.
The last of the 1 o'clock Eastern games features the Tennessee Titans at the Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore favored by 6.5 over at DraftKings. That seems like a little much to me. I think this is kind of a toss-up game. I think this will be a back-and-forth game. I do believe the Titans will come out and try to smash the ball down the Ravens' throats like the Patriots did on Sunday Night Football. The question is whether or not, they'll actually be up to the challenge, them being the Ravens. They know it's coming. Can they stop it? Something's off with the Ravens offense. We've discussed that on the Fantasy Feast podcast. We've discussed that everywhere. I'll take the Ravens to get it done, kind of like they did against the Colts. But I think it's a close game. I think it's a field goal game late. I think it's a good football game. Baltimore 27, Tennessee 24. An awesome football game, but that's obviously, you can tell why I like Tennessee getting the points on the Even Money podcast.
The New York Jets head west, take on the Los Angeles Chargers.
And you will be there, right, Bri?
I will be there. Looking forward to it.
You pretty much live at SoFi Stadium.
This will be the third consecutive week. Then I've got Atlanta next week and then back in Los Angeles for the Patriot game on December the 6th. So it'll be 4 games in a 4 out of 5, and then there was another one in week 2. So yeah, I'm pretty well familiar with that stadium. It's an awesome facility.
It's a lot of LA flights, man, too.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So we'll get the food report on Monday. I like the Chargers to win the game, but I think the spread is way out of whack. I don't think the Chargers should be laying 8.5 points to anyone over at DraftKings. Well, I told you to take the Jets, getting the 8.5 on Even Money podcast. Flacco looked good last time out. The Jets receivers look good. And the Chargers, they're coming off their worst game of the year. I'll take the Chargers to find a way to win late, but not laying. I wouldn't like to lay in the 8.5 at all. By the way, you see Justin Herbert's new haircut, Bri?
No, I haven't.
Oh, man. He looks really, really young. He already looked young with the long hair, but now he got like a buzz cut and he looks really, it's almost like, I don't know if it was a rookie thing or did he lose a bet or what, but it's kind of funny. You got to look it up. I'll take the Chargers to win the game. I think it'll be entertaining. I think it'll be like a nice red zone game, kind of back and forth. 24-23. Chargers finally win a close game by 1 late.
Miami Dolphins at the Denver Broncos.
Wow, I thought you were going to do it right there, bro. You sounded like you're Miami Dolphins, number 1. You know what I don't do a lot, probably because they don't live there anymore. They don't play there anymore. San Diego Superchargers. San Diego Chargers. San Diego Superchargers. I like the Dolphins to win the game. Broncos have been very disappointing. Now Drew Lock's banged up. We'll see if he even plays. Dolphins are on a roll. They're feeling it. I don't think the Broncos are good enough to get them off that roll. I'll take the Dolphins in that one. Yeah, I don't feel like either one of them is going to score that many points. So how about 21-20 Dolphins?
Dallas Cowboys and the Minnesota Vikings.
How about them Cowboys against the Minnesota Vikings? So I'll take the Vikings to win. They're favored by 7 at DraftKings. That seems like a little bit too much to me. But I like them to take care of business late in a close one. Maybe not that close. I think the Cowboys and Andy Dalton, coming off a bye, will come out and play better, and that they will have figured some things out. So I will say Minnesota 30, Dallas 24. 30-24 Vikings.
Green Bay Packers at the Indianapolis Colts.
A little weird to me that the Colts are favored by 2 at DraftKings, but it's a home game that counts for something. I don't know how much, but counts for something. Their defense has been playing well. I think the Packers win the game, though. I just think the Colts are still a little offensively challenged, and no matter how well the Colts have played defensively, it's still Aaron Rodgers. So I think the Colts win. I think the Packers win probably 27-24. It's been a popular score for me today. 27-24. I just think Aaron Rodgers is able to squeak out a win by doing a little bit more with his offense against the Colts defense than Rivers can muster. You can let the doggies out.
Ross's Underdog of the Week.
Sunday Night Football, the Kansas City Chiefs at the Las Vegas Raiders.
So the Raiders just put their entire defense almost, or a lot of guys on their defense, on the COVID list, but they're still expected to play. And it looks like the line is down right now at DraftKings, but it had been the Chiefs favored by like 6.5. So I'll take the Chiefs to win the game. I think the Chiefs, I'd be very surprised if they don't win the game for a lot of different reasons. Andy Reid off a bye. Chiefs mad about losing them the first time. Raiders having COVID issues. Give me the Chiefs to take it down 31-24 Kansas City.
And finally, Monday Night Football, the Los Angeles Rams at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The Bucs are favored by 4 over at DraftKings. I think this will be a pretty darn good game. I think the one thing you really need to watch here will be Andrew Whitworth's absence at left tackle and how Joseph Noteboom is able to perform against Shaq Barrett. And really, he'll go more up against Jason Pierre-Paul. Still think Whitworth is probably the best O-lineman for the LA Rams. So that is a big loss, losing Big Andrew, who, by the way, is a gigantic human being. Absolutely gigantic human being. And an awesome guy, by the way. So I'll go. I think that ends up being the difference in the football game. So I think Tampa scores more. I think they play. I think this is a really entertaining, fun game. It feels like the Rams offensively are playing pretty well right now. So I'm going to say 26-23. Bucks get the win. I kind of like the Rams getting the points, but 26-23, the Bucks get the win. But we all really get the win, Bri, when I get to give shout-outs to Pizza Boy Brewing, DynastyFreaks.com, Sporticulture, SteakhouseSports.com, Vision Comics with an X. And how about a shout-out for one of my small businesses, MyFrontPageStory.com, the greatest Christmas gift, holiday gift, whatever that I'm aware of. I've told most of you about it before in terms of having one of our writers write the most unbelievable story for a loved one. Just getting it back in your top of mind there. myfrontpagestory.com if you're not sure what to get some loved ones for the holidays. Other than that, I think we're done here.
Thanks for listening to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also subscribe to the Fantasy Feast, Even Money, Business of Sports, and College Draft. All available at Apple Podcasts, RossTucker.com, or wherever podcasts can be found.